Training camp week 2. And some news out of Florham Park as Aaron Rodgers gets an extension to be here for multiple years. Sean Peyton talking some shade against the Jets and ex-head coach of the Broncos, Nathaniel Hackett, and the Jets going back to their 80s and 90s retro uniforms to be showcased on 2 primetime games. All that and more on The Takeoff. Well, hello, New York Jets fans and NFL fans. It is Thursday night, July 27th, 2023, 7:34 p.m. We are 1 week and 26 minutes away from the start of the NFL preseason. New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns at the Hall of Fame game. That's 1 week from today. And I just, I can't believe it. It's finally starting to come around. A few things to talk about, like I said in the opening. We had some trash talking. We had contract restructure. We have a new jersey unveiling, an alternate jersey unveiling, and some news around the league. Quickly around the league today, Joe Burrow stepped the wrong way, hobbled, taken off the field in a cart at camp. Report now it's a strained calf. He should be back in 2 to 3 weeks. So thankfully, thank God he's okay with that. Saquon Barkley and the Giants came to terms on a 1-year deal. He is in camp. He has showed up. Let's see what else. Speaking of contracts, so Aaron Rodgers, he spoke last week about having to be a disservice to just play for the Jets for 1 year. He could see multiple years depending on how his body is, how the season goes, and his outlook again. Well, yesterday they did a contract extension. So the Jets and Aaron Rodgers did a contract extension. Basically, he took a $30 million plus pay cut this year. They moved $58.3 million into option bonuses till 2024. For the next 2 years, he is guaranteed $75 million through 2024. This also includes 2 option years to spread out the bonus prorations. He will be guaranteed $107 million next year in 2024 if he plays. So he took a cut this year to play next year. That tells me a lot. That tells me that he sees what's going on in this building and in this program, and he likes it, and he's happy where he is. It also shows me that he's committed. I can't see anybody giving up $107 million. I don't care how much money you've made. You're not going to give up $107 million not to play next year. And again, it's always contingent upon his body and how this season goes. So I could see, I could see 2 years. I don't know if I see multiple, years after that. The contract extension actually could equate out to 5 years if they do the options. So, hopefully he will be here, and hopefully this will keep success within the Jets, and hopefully they could now just, not worry about him, not worry about staying or leaving. He's going to be here, barring a miracle of, that the Jets, if they win the Super Bowl and he rides off to the sunset, me and I know probably every other Jet fan will take it. So, keeping with Aaron Rodgers, keeping with training camp and around the league, the Jets will face the Denver Broncos in Week 5 this year. Yesterday or today, I think it was today, Sean Payton in his press conference mentioned Nathaniel Hackett. Now, Nathaniel Hackett was the head coach of the Broncos last year. I believe he was let go with 2 weeks left in the season. Nathaniel Hackett was a first-time head coach. The offense was abysmal. Russell Wilson looked terrible. They could not get any points on the board. They had issues getting plays to the huddle. And eventually Nathaniel Hackett and the Broncos, went their separate ways. Sean Payton came in, and in a way it was shots fired towards the Jets, and in a way he was protecting his quarterback. In a nutshell, and I don't have the quotes, Sean Payton said that last year, whatever happened last year, we're going to do the total opposite. We're going to go about things total opposite ways. Also, somebody with Russell Wilson's skill and talent doesn't just change overnight. There are other factors into it. So basically, he was protecting Russell Wilson, saying, listen, it wasn't him. His bad year wasn't all on him. And then he threw in, they couldn't even get a play to the line of scrimmage. So that was a shot at Nathaniel Hackett. Keeping going with Hackett, and then he kind of mentioned Hard Knocks and the Jets being in the spotlight, and you know, I guess with Aaron Rodgers here, the expectations and all that. And first of all, and this was great on the radio today. One of the local radio hosts, BT Brandon Tierney, which I really like him, Brooklyn guy. Um, we know a lot of the same people from high school. He said, come on, Sean. The Jets didn't even want Hard Knocks. Coach Saleh didn't even want Hard Knocks. So please don't even throw Hard Knocks in our face. But you know what? You're a Super Bowl winning coach. You want to say that? You can say that. Coach Saleh came back, and when he was approached with this question, he said basically, if they're mentioning us, we must be popping right now because we don't face them till week 4. It's actually week 5, but week 4. So he had a pretty good comeback. He didn't really go after him, but now you can see that this date has been circled in both locker rooms. Um, I'm not sure. I think it's a Jet home game, if I'm not mistaken. Last year they were in Denver. I'm not sure if they're in Denver this year, but I believe it's a Jet home game. I just want to check the schedule, and no, they're at the Broncos. So it's a 4:25 start on October 8th, Week 5 at Denver, in the Mile High. And the Jets went there last year, and they beat Russell Wilson. Um, so this will all be circled. Dalvin Cook, I'm just reading now on NFL Total Access. Dalvin Cook is flying into the area to meet with the Jets. So the Jets adding more firepower. So last week when training camp started, there was a picture that kind of went viral locally. I don't know if it went viral nationally, of a Jet alternate jersey. So Monday, I'm sorry, the Jets unveiled their alternate jersey. It is being called the Sack Exchange era jersey. If you look behind me, the number 73, Joe Klecko, is part of the Sack Exchange. So it was the white jerseys with the Kelly green. They had the Kelly green helmets. It didn't have the football on it, didn't have the NY, but it had Jets. The J went across the ETS, and the top of it became one of those supersonic jets. And that kind of took over, the new logo. That was in 1979 that came into effect. So that's going to be unveiled 2 times this year. It'll be unveiled on opening nights, Monday Night Football, September 11th versus the Bills, and then Week 4, Sunday Night Football versus the Chargers. I'm sorry, against the Chiefs. So Monday night and Sunday night, nationalized games on, of course, I believe NBC, and I think ABC has the Monday night game. The Jets stadium will be decorated in the old gear and the old logos. Midfield will have the old Jet logo, the Sack Exchange logo. The end zones will also have the logos, and the coaches and players will all wear the same logos. So, I know a lot of people look at this and say, "Oh, I love this logo. I haven't seen this logo. I remember this." Younger generation, that after '98 has seen the 2 logos that we've been doing now. The football with the NY and the Jets across it, which Joe Namath wore and Bill Parcells brought back in '98, and then the 2019 with the stealth black and the white and the green and the iridescent type helmet and the black helmet and whatnot. And they're like, oh, those retro '80s jerseys are fire. When we had those jerseys, nobody liked them. I mean, and I love my Jets, and I have, again, I'm going to do a tour around my room, but to me, they were so simplified that they did not pop to me. You take a simplified helmet like the Colts with just a horseshoe. The Green Bay Packers was just the G. The star on the Dallas Cowboys or the C on the Chicago Bears, they pop. The Jets logo to me just never meant anything because they never really had a lot of success. So I decided I wanted to look. So I started going to the games. My first game was in '83. Shea Stadium. They had the logos, the Sack Exchange logos. Midfield, a huge green helmet painted with the Jet logo. In the end zone, it's a little weird. They didn't have the name go through the whole end zone. On the left side and right side of each end zone, they had Jets built out a couple of yards wide. Um, and that was a logo that took over from 1979. So from the inception of the team, except for when they were the Titans and they wore those Titan colors, those royal blue or whatever you want to call them, and then the Jets became the green and white. And if you put green and white together, and you also know Leon Hess and the Hess gas station's green and white, there's some sort of connection there, of course. From 1979, the Jets went with what we call now the Sack Exchange um, uniforms. Only difference was they had a white face mask. Okay, they wore the same logo till 1997. The only thing that changed in 1990, they went to a black face mask, and that was, and I'm going to be honest with you, 1990s when hip hop started to become mainstream, rap started to become mainstream. East Coast, West Coast, Los Angeles Kings updated their jerseys. They had the black in there. The Raiders always had the black. Everybody was sporting Raider stuff. Um, the White Sox went with the alternate black uniform. So it was a fashion statement, a style statement as well. Starter was selling jerseys and jackets and everything. So to get in on the merchandise, the Jets added some black. They put on the face mask. From 1997, when the Jets, I'm sorry, since 1979 to 1997, when the Jets had the Sack Exchange logo, they played 20 full seasons, except for one season where they played a strike shortened 9 game season. They made the playoffs 5 times. 5 times in 20 seasons. Okay? They played a total of 312 games. They won 134. So right off the bat, they did not win 50% of their games. They lost 176 games and they tied twice. They were at 42.9% winning percentage in 20 seasons, 5 playoff appearances. The first playoff appearance was in '81. They lost to the Bills in a wild card at Shea. Then '82, 6-3, they go on a run. They go to the AFC Championship game. They lose in the Mud Bowl, I believe. Um, then they make the playoffs in '85. They lose to the New England Patriots, who go on to be the AFC champions, and lose to the Bears, the '85 Bears. '86, they lose to the Browns. That's in the double overtime Mark Gastineau game, where I believe they went 10-5-1. What always scratches my head about that year is at 10-5-1, they, they beat Kansas City at home. They lose to the Browns the following week, and the Browns go on to lose to the Broncos with the drive. What a lot of people forget is if the Jets beat the Browns, they're going to play the Broncos. Who knows what happens if they're going to play the Broncos? Because I believe the Jets might have home field at that point. I'm not sure, but if you read just like the tweet that I did, but if they beat the Broncos and they win the AFC Championship, they go to the Super Bowl. They face the Giants in '86. So nobody, a lot of people don't realize that the Giants and the Jets could have met that year. The Jets then don't make the playoffs again until '91. They beat the Dolphins on the last game of the season on 2 Raul Allegre field goals, one to end the regulation, one to win it overtime, and they lose to Houston in the Astrodome, where the Jets should have won. Bruce Coslett, with his, I believe it was Bruce Coslett, with his play calling just abysmal inside the red zone. I think it was Coslett. I don't think it was Joe Walton at that point. And then they don't make the playoffs again in those uniforms until '98. 3 times or 4 times they came within 1 game, but they never did. So to me, this logo, for the younger generation, yes, it's a new logo. I know people went out already, bought new jerseys and everything. I already have jerseys with that logo. I already have hats with that logo. I have decorations with that logo. But to me, it always reminded me of failure. It reminded me of Dennis Byrd. It reminded me of the fake Spike game. Yes, you talked about the Sack Exchange. Yes, Joe Klecko wore it. Gastineau wore it. Abdul Salam wore it. Marty Lyons wore it. Al Toon, Frew McNeil, Richard Todd, Kenny O'Brien, um, Pat Ryan, Pat Leahy, Dave Jennings, Johnny Hector, Keyshawn Johnson, Wayne Corbett wore it also. Victor Green, Boomer Esiason. My Jets, my players, but again, not a lot of success. But they released it. It'll be on 2 regular season games, and these are the logos here. So I mean, I like them. They will be wearing the white, and like I said, first game September 11th, and then week 4 Sunday night against the Kansas City Chiefs. So basically, that's it. All the news for today. I'm going to try to do another video before the Hall of Fame game. I'm definitely going to be doing videos next week. Um, Again, reach out to us. Subscribe to our videos. Um, Follow us on Twitter. So you can follow us on Twitter at the Jets Takeoff is our Twitter handle. Um, in fact, I was tweeting today with Peter Schwartz and some of the other sportscasters around here. Like I said, Victor Green just liked my tweet when I put up the pictures of the old Jet logos that I took pictures of at games. Um, so you can reach us on Twitter that way. You could Facebook group is the Takeoff. I'll be honest, it's not as active as it used to be. We're using Twitter more. We are now on TikTok. We're going to start doing TikTok videos. We also can be reached by email at thejetstakeoff@gmail.com. And of course, now on YouTube for the last 3 seasons or 4 seasons, I believe, at least the last 3 or 4 seasons. It's the Takeoff. The handle or the channel name is at the Jets Takeoff. We want to hear from you. Follow us, subscribe to our videos. You'll get alerted when we put up the videos. I'll retweet them. Tell us what you're doing. Are you going to the Hall of Fame game? Have you been to training camp? What do you think of training camp? I spoke to a few people. They said the bleachers are nice. It has been hot here in the New York, New Jersey area. Overcrowded, hard knocks, but it's been amazing. They said just to see Aaron Rodgers in jet garb is amazing. So check us out. Have a great rest of your week and a great weekend and a blessed weekend, safe weekend, a happy weekend, and a healthy weekend. We are the Takeoff, and we're going to be going through this throughout the season, and hopefully it is a very exciting and very fun season. Have a great night.